Welcome to the Inner Room with Out of My Damn Mind. This is the space where walls fall away, where stories don't just get told, they land. Messy, real, and alive. Here, writers open the door to what drives them, what haunts them, and what keeps them going. Every voice has its own rhythm, its own scars, its own sparks. And together we trace the threads that hold us, break us, and connect us all. Hello, hello, hello. Becky, and then thanks, Mac, for letting me know heard. Today is a very special Inner Room. I usually come up with 20 curated questions for my co-host, but the lovely IMI has agreed to join me again, and this time they're all catered to Valentine's Day, themed Valentine's Day.
I even wore red, like not quite red, but I just will try to fit into the theme.
My face usually goes blushy for me.
It has already done.
So I'm already representing Elijah. Thanks for joining, Mary. Thanks for joining. So I'm very excited to kick off the special edition of Valentine's Day kind of theme with the beautiful and lovely IMI. Thank you again for joining me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me again. It was the climax of my year last year. I'm sure it's gonna be a hard one to top this year as well.
Well, I think the way that I'm going to do it is asking you questions that are out of the box and more leaned into Valentine's Day themes than just about your work and other things. So without any further ado, are you ready for the first one?
I have the most out of the box answers for you at this point.
I can't wait. Stabilize, thanks for joining. Curiously, Lulu, thanks for joining. All right, we're going to knock off the first question. What's a Valentine's Day rule you secretly think is bullshit?
It's like one of the most cliche ones, but it was the one that just came to me. Like, you must have plans for Valentine's Day, even if you don't have a relationship, because that's like feels forceful, and it feels like not having a relationship something that is not okay, which is not. Like, if you like Valentine's Day, if you can celebrate, you can, but if you don't have a boyfriend or a relationship, you can have the day with yourself without making plans.
Absolutely. Elijah says love should be year-round, and that's obviously something that I touched up on before we went live.
He had a post about that too, I remember. I cannot tell the name, but okay, anyway.
Elijah, plug in the post that I am
Just send the link about sunflowers or something, I'm not sure. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, it is true, but it's also true to what you said, because I think sometimes the day kind of indirectly causes like a segregation between singles and couples. And I think if it's truly a day about love, I don't think you need to necessarily have to have somebody to enjoy it and participate in it. There's nothing wrong with taking yourself out to dinner if that's what you want to do, or making yourself your own favorite meal for the night, or whatever or getting yourself your own flowers or chocolates or whatever the hell you want to do. You're allowed to do that. That is 100% something that you can do. Elijah said, I don't know. I write so much about love. I'll have to search through it, though. You're funny. Kathy, AJ, thanks for joining. Yeah, so I mean, I do feel like there are certain kind of rules that I just think are bullshit, and that's definitely one of them, where you have to make plans. Like, it's a day that it all must be planned and executed and perfectly done.
It feels like when I was working like this job, where I cannot really say working because it was only for a week. I had to work during the weekend, but I just had one day off during the week, like in the weekdays. It was Wednesday, so I had this like I felt this entire FOMO the night before, thinking, okay, tomorrow is my off day. I have to do something. I have to do something, and that just got me to text every messed up situationship that I had in the past to like at least create some drama. In the end, like doing nothing was way better than getting into FOMO and trying to do something.
Yeah, I mean, only having one day off would make it really difficult for me to even want to do something on the one day off. Like, I'm somebody that would definitely like, okay, I don't want to do anything. I want to stay home. I want to sleep in. I want to catch up on something if I'm working 6 days a week. So kudos to you.
Yeah, that's why I grew insomnic, by the way. I'm not insomnic, by the way. People keep saying that, but like that's why I sleep late, because I think like night feels like a free time where I don't have to do something productive, or like don't have to do something particularly. So yeah.
Curiously, Delulu said self-gift with wild abandon. Yes. And Max said all rules are bullshit.
I
Alex said,
agree.
hi, both of you. Hello, hello. Yeah, I mean, that was just that we're just gonna ease into these lovely Valentine's Day themed questions, because I have an array of different types of ones. Stabilize says, I feel the same way. Night has a quiet magic. It does, and I think sometimes we need to like recharge, like, just step away from the constant of being within people, being around people, like, our energies do get affected anyway,
Definitely.
that's been my
Yeah.
filter.
That's why mine too. I used to be the biggest extrovert. I still am, but I just need to recharge a bit more. That was why it was so draining with my parents too, because they were here all the
All the
time.
time. Like, you had never had a break to just, like, be by yourself, right?
No, I just had to even walk outside of the house to speak on the phone, like freely.
Mm. 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 I said there's something so different about living life as an adult when and then, like, on your own and then having your parents in your space. It is like, "Get the fuck out. Please get the
Exactly.
fuck out.
My
I love you, but bye."
I think it was like also both-sided. My dad started smoking while he was here, so maybe it's like he had the same way of coping, another way of coping.
Oh, that's funny. Elijah said, "I can buy myself flowers. I used to have a similar work schedule, half a day during the week, full day on Sunday. Yeah, the night is the best." Oh, so he was quoting that Bruno Mars song, right?
No, 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 that's Miley
I can
Cyrus.
Oh, Miley Cyrus. Oh, yeah, wow, wow.
I listen to that song so
Miley, how I totally forgot about that. Oh, man. So somebody's gonna be like, "Yeah, you're old, Marlena." I'm like, "Yep, you're right, you're right, you're right."
I think
Anyways,
even knowing Miley Cyrus could be considered as old at this point
no,
almost.
I'm old that I don't know
Mhm.
that it was Miley Cyrus. I don't think Miley Cyrus is well, maybe.
Like, I
Maybe
grew
we're
up watching Hannah Montana, so
Me
people
too,
must
I remember the movie. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick stop on the chat chain to ask another question. Um, do you think Valentine's Day puts pressure on relationships or exposes cracks that are already there?
Um, I have like I think it's maybe like covering up the cracks from where I see, because it's
Mm.
not easy, like difficult to do something special for someone, and if it comes internally, you can choose a day on your own and surprise them. But whereas it's Valentine's Day, you are already like expected to do something, so it's just easy to have the idea and just take them to dinner or like buy a gift, which like I don't mean this is like the best thing that you can do for someone. But if your relationship has cracks, a person, I'm just talking hypothetically, but a
Right.
person could already be feeding on the breadcrumbs that other person is giving, so that like having them make a plan for them for the Valentines could be more like revealing, less revealing cracks and more fixing a situation that is not related with what you're doing at the day.
I totally get what you're saying, and that's an interesting way to look at it too. I do feel like if hypothetically said couple was having already a rough road and then somebody went out of the box and did something a little bit more extraordinary for said day, it may, like, for a week cover up whatever those problems might have been, but don't they always come back to expose themselves anyway, right?
I think so. It's like taking a holiday, you know? Like when things go bad, you take a holiday. And in the holiday, it doesn't go bad because like you're in somewhere else. You're just supposed to have a good time. So the days or the times where that are registered as like you're supposed to have a good time or you should be doing this has a way of, I think, creating a placebo effect for
Mm.
people. That's my idea of it. But yeah,
No, I like the way that you took that. It tickled my little brain over here.
that's what I
It
do.
is, and I think that's why I've always enjoyed having, conversations with you.
Yeah, me too.
Um, wow, and just for the people in the States, a holiday is a vacation. Just a fun fact. Okay,
Ah,
Max
okay,
says
okay. So it's like, am I using the British version of?
yeah, no, but that's, it's completely appropriate, I know both, and there's a great, like, commercial on, with Drew Barrymore and somebody else where they kinda go back and forth about holiday and vacations. But Max says, "Have you tried waking up at 4 a.m.? It's like stuffed crust pizza for introverted creators." So I have, but not, like, intentionally. I have, like, uh, a pee schedule that apparently likes to abruptly wake me up in the middle of the night, and my brain that, like, just well, I'm awake, so now my brain's awake,
Yeah,
does
that's
fancy
me too.
I said does fancy things at 4 o'clock in the morning, man.
Yeah. I haven't tried waking up at 4 a.m., but I have done like going to bed to 4 a.m. a lot, and that's like my stuff. Like I do.
Yeah, but you already been awake for so long, so I think the point is to get some type of
Like
sleep
the
and then
yeah,
wake up
brain
in the
isn't fresh. Yeah.
right, like, wake up in the middle of the night where everything else around you is
You
quiet.
know, there is this thing, like I think you might have heard like these intelligent, brilliant people like Einstein or whoever, they would like there was specific someone, I can't remember his name, but they would hold some stuff on their hand right about the time when they were about to go to sleep. So like when they are falling asleep, what they're holding in their hand drops to the floor and it wakes them up. And that is the time when your brain is most into like active and like when it can produce ideas, solve problems. That's even like the one of the most famous scientists have was doing that before, like when he was alive.
So not me going to bed with, like, my remote in my hands later today and then waiting for
Why
it to
not?
drop and then waking up. That's very interesting. I might totally try that just to
Just
see if
try.
just to see if something, like, kinda clicks in my brain or I actually feel a little bit more intelligent.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. See
Eli
yourself as oh, yeah?
no, sorry, Elijah said he had to go back to work, so thanks for joining. AJ says, "Hi. Hello, hello." Uh, Becky agrees with Mac. So apparently we need to wake up in the middle of the night. Original Word says hi. Wait, no. I tune in for the first thing I hear is get the fuck out. Well, I'm sorry. We don't want you to get the fuck out. Kevin, thanks for joining. Nightler, thanks for joining. Jackson is the best. John, thanks for joining. Venas, thanks for joining. We see you. I see you. Nightler says, hello, Marlena, IMI. So good to see you both, everyone. Yeah, I'm so excited to have IMI and everybody that just kind of came in. Sierra, hi. I think I'm saying your name right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say we are just getting started in this special edition, Valentine's Day themed with IMI, the perfect person to kind of talk about this upcoming holiday that are not just for couples, but for everyone. We're allowed to love
Exactly.
everybody's allowed to love each other. I love thyself. Max says if Valentine's Day was a real celebration, we'd celebrate by cutting people's heads off. Don't quote me. Well, it sounds extreme. uh,
You left me speechless. That
I
doesn't happen so often.
I mean, okay, but why would that be the right way to celebrate it? Is that what
Well,
happened to Valentine? Am I
could it
missing
be
something historical here that I'm not tying it together?
I'm just gonna look at it from a more inward projection, like a psychological perspective, where maybe his inner self, that's the rage that he wants to put out towards the day itself. So like Valentine's Day could be making him want to cut people's head off. Is that true, Mac?
I don't know. I mean, I gotta wait for them to either respond or,
Ah,
kind
yeah,
of catch
he's
up
like,
to it.
you were right. He says, I was just joking, by the way.
Well, I'm glad to see. All right, so Damon, thanks for joining. Let's move to the next question. I'm gonna get into a little bit of a spicier one. Is that all
Shoot
right?
it.
Are you okay?
I'm fully fine.
Is Valentine's Day automatically a we're having sex holiday, or is that a lie that we've all agreed to?
I never heard like a Valentine's Day was like a must-have sex day. If you are like obviously relationships, kind of you have to,
But
but
that's what I'm saying. But why is it obvious that if you're in a relationship, you should have sex on Valentine's Day?
that's like, what would you think if you wouldn't have sex with your like partner on the Valentine's Day evening? I'm just asking you. I'm just curious of your answer.
Nightler says every day, and I just like I just think it's kind of a lot of pressure for for continued couples that what if your Valentine's Day did not go well? What if there was
Ah,
something
that's
that
like an
happened?
example. Yeah, that's
You
kind
know,
of not good either, though. Like this
right?
stupid day, it just puts so much pressure on
But
people.
that's what I'm saying. It puts so much pressure on people to get the plans right, make sure you get the gifts right, and then you also have to perform right. Like it just to me is just like there's a lot that's like riding on just the 14th of February. I just don't get it.
I just don't like the concept of things being labeled as right or wrong. So, like, I know that this ideology initially made me think, like, okay, you must have sex with your partner or like in your relationship on Valentine's Day. But I just conflicted with myself because there are no musts really. And like, if you don't feel like it, if you don't feel up for it, I may have just done it for the sake of it if I have a relationship at this point. 'Cause-
Um, Lynn, thanks for joining. Nightler says, "Make love every day. There are so many ways to show someone you love them." I completely agree. Again,
Yes.
I'm totally on that page. And then Mac says, "Sex should not be an obligation." Lynn says, "Hi, we're doing partner yoga." Oh, oh, that sounds like fun. It's like we're kind of doing yoga here in a different type of way. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought like I feel like there is like this assumption between couples that that is what happens at the end of a Valentine's Day. I'm like, yo, if you have a really good date
Yeah.
and I like it, or it's like a good time. Like, what if you went to a concert? It's like 3 hours, whatever. You get home late. Like, do you want to have to do you have to feel obligated to perform something that you may not even be in the mood for at that time? Like, I don't know. I just thought I wanted to know kind of your
I found it interesting that you like when you think like, because I just like wanted to ask what does performing mean to you? Because whenever you refer to sex, you say perform, so that just was an attention grabbing thing for me.
um.
We do
I mean, it's
spicy
still
questions sideways here.
it's still to me. It's just like it's a physical. It could be a physical act, and there could be a lot of things that need to happen or do. And if you're not really energized for it, maybe performed is not a good
No,
verb.
it's like there is not a good or bad. It's just like it gives an idea of how you been seeing it recently. Just I was paying attention to that.
No. um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just I think I'm more. I guess I'm just used to utilizing that word. I guess.
Maybe
But now that you pointed it out, I'm like, well, why do I say perform? Because it isn't a performance; it is an act. I guess more.
'cause let's just sleep on it.
I will definitely be sleeping on that. Nightler says sounds like a lot of pressure. Damon said morning then. Yeah, I mean anytime you can have a you now I'm afraid to say perform it. Perform.
I didn't want to. No.
Yeah, yeah, apparently IMI is stretching my brain cells, so that's why we're having our own form of yoga over here, letting the mind breathe.
You do,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's great.
We wander France, thanks for joining. Nightler's a spontaneous combustion. Like a very spontaneous person naturally. Like I am somebody that doesn't like to make plans, but will reach out to somebody like 10 to 15 minutes before I like, hey, you want to go do this real quick?
Yeah.
And most of the time, most people can't do that. Like some people like need like a little bit more of a heads up before agreeing to something. And I'm like, but why? What are you doing? And they're like, oh, well, I have kids or I'm still at work. And I'm over here like, oh, that's not my life. Sorry. Yeah. So you're spontaneous in that way too?
Yeah, a lot actually. I used to be like more of a planner where I would just like book every single day. I would know what my weekly schedule was gonna be like from Monday. But now I just like think like what if my mood changed or like what if I change my mind or just like what if like something. So I just don't like to make plans ahead and I just like to ask it before the time, like not like 5 minutes before, but at least
You'll
like
give them a
during
couple
that
hours.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also like just generally I guess people have stopped making plans with me and they just wait for me because like I just can't, they don't trust me in terms of plans anymore, which is not in a bad way, but I just like try to not keep that repetition going by keeping on making plans and canceling them. So I just go by with the minute or the time.
No, I completely agree with that too. I mean, sometimes, my anxiety can get the best of me, and I could say yes, and then when it actually shows up, I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't really wanna do this."
Yeah, and I'm like a really excited person by nature. I am not a calm person. I am quite excited. So like when something comes up, I automatically get excited and I am so good at hyping myself very easily. And that could like happen in that moment, but if the moment doesn't come the next, then it just fades away and I don't know what's gonna happen later.
Um, I can totally understand that. I love that Max says, "Leave it to IMI to pull you into a linguistic analysis." Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I should have known by the second time around what this beautiful little woman does to me, but apparently I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared.
So ready to blindside you.
Yeah, Damon saying, "Okay, instead of perform, I can try engage.
Engaged, yeah, so that's nice. Yeah,
Engage.
interesting.
Engage in the act of love." Jennifer, thanks for joining. Mac Devlin says, "Thrusters engage." Lily, thanks for joining. All right, so real
She
quick,
did you say curiously, Lily? She said, "I'm gonna take a shot every time you say
perform.
perform."
Well, now I'm gonna have to go out of my way to make sure I say it more often, okay? Delulu. Nightler did say my plans usually fall through. Spontaneity works best for me. If it's meant to be, it will be. I completely agree with that. James, thanks for joining. All right, so moving moving to the next question. What's your ideal Valentine's Day right now? Not fantasy, real life energy.
Real life energy. I would like love to write something on that day because like I just think that's my way of showing self-love to myself, but like that can also go to a forceful direction because I realized this last week actually. So I'm just gonna finish this section of my answer and then come back to the original question's answer because I just tend to branch out a lot.
Good.
Yeah, so like last week when I sometimes I like I can be forceful to myself too, just like thinking, okay, I should be doing this on that day, which is sometimes a special day like Valentine's. I was like, one time I forced myself to write. I had the ideas, but it just didn't flow naturally. And in the end, I wasn't really satisfied with what I've done, which made me feel insecure. And I didn't realize that that was because I was forcing myself. But then last week on Monday, each week, I volunteer at the mental health ward at a psychiatric hospital. I had such a calm day. I've done tai chi with patients and just generally chatted with them. It was like a wholesome day for me. And then when I just came home, I picked up a book, read one sentence or three, and I just felt inspired. And it just like when I started to write, it just flowed itself. So like what I'm trying to explain in this example is what I think would be an ideal day for the day that is ahead right now may not be like that on that day. So it's just for me the natural flow of life, the ideal way to spend Valentine's is to listen to my instincts and give myself what I need.
Mm. Well, that is quite beautiful. I also love that you kind of went a little detoury, but gave us a very wholesome recap of one of your days because I think that's important that we all remember to do things that kind of feed the soul, not
Mhm.
just line the pockets, right? So I can appreciate that. Okay, but in a hypothetical situation, right?
Okay,
Because
okay.
we and you were both single, yes, in 2026 at this time. But if you had a partner, is
Mhm.
there something that you may hope, not expect, but hope that they may do for you on that day?
They could buy me a train ticket with Eurostar and take me to Paris for a single day.
Mm. Yeah, because 'cause you're not that yeah.
Like that
Well,
was
you
a
might as well go out all out, right? If they're gonna do it right, they might as well do that.
like, oh yeah, also exactly. It's like an hour from here, so
Uh,
also.
well, Nightler said candlelight dinner. Um, yeah, apparently under the Eiffel Tower would be the most romantic thing ever.
I was asked go all the way.
I don't know if I think Mac is the one who's setting all these hearts. He says pump out hearts to bump reach. So I think he's setting out the hearts. So we appreciate that. Nightler also says movie and cuddle. The Essence Journal, Claire. Thanks for joining. Davis says favorite activity in Paris.
So I've only been there once when I was fifth grade. So at the time it was Disneyland. So I haven't had an experience that could top that. I need to go back.
Well, I mean, if I ever got to that to your side of the world, it would all just be an amazing and probably experience to just kind of dive into any of that. Alex says sounds good. Nightler says the moon. Yolanda says Nightler. I agree. So the moon, bring me everything. I again
Absolutely.
appreciate you, Mac, for pumping out all the hearts. It's just they keep smacking me in my face like boom, boom, boom.
It
I
feels
anyway.
nice though, like big hearts thrown at you.
I feel the love, so it's beautiful. All right. What's one thing you've learned about love the hard way?
Hard way. Hmm. I have to think because there's so many tough lessons that love taught me.
Well, you got to just pick one, or you could share all of them. I mean,
Okay,
we're here.
I think like one of them is like related with letting go. Like it doesn't change much if like love sometimes doesn't always change much, even if it's reciprocally. Because there's sometimes in ways that some people are actually good for you and their love could be toxic. Like my ex-boyfriend, he lit quote, his last words to me is like, "Okay, we can have a peaceful relationship because I'm just gonna stop trying to own you." Like it means like he just wants me to be like love him the most, like don't show interest to other people, not romantically by the way. He's just jealous of me was. And like that's an act of love, like being was wanting someone's entire attention or their feelings or sentiments towards you. I'm like that's an unmistakable way of loving someone, but it doesn't mean it's reliable or it's good for you. And in the end, that energy turned into something that is toxic, leaving me to be exposed to the most cruel words in the world just because I wasn't returning to his unmistakable love in his terms.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. The only reason I say that is because I obviously all I could do is sit and then think about, okay, my previous relationships, what have they taught me about love? And I think, each person that I've tangoed with, um,
I love
uh,
that too.
I think indirectly was kind of just showing me myself and where, maybe things that I could I could appreciate a lot of what somebody could bring to the table,
Mhm.
but was settling for a lot of nothing being brought and me putting in all the active work. So I think
Yeah,
what I've learned from love is that it should always be a two-way street, and it shouldn't ever maybe make anybody feel insecure or competitive or jealous or less than. Like, I think if you are whole within yourself, the relationship would always feel that way. So I think it was more just a reflection of the things that I needed to continue to grow within myself, if anything.
I think that makes so much sense because before you started saying that, I was thinking like maybe another tough lesson could be like don't be too selfless in love because like
Mhm.
that balance that you just mentioned is quite important because like things should be like yeah, it's like it's not in a way to stop yourself by doing something that you would want to do for someone, but it's just like mutual investment and like
Right.
matching each other's level. I think that's quite important generally. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to people that have successfully been in relationships for multiple decades of their lives, not like because there was like at my parents' ages, like 25 years of marriage was like a curse. Like if you could get to it, but you couldn't get past it. Like a lot of people then hit like a divorce kind of
Mhm.
situation. And I think the people that have lived a whole life with their partner at 35, 45, 50 years of their life have always come back to understanding that it's an evolution of oneself, and as you continue to evolve and show up for your partner, they continue to evolve and show up for you, but there's gonna be, like, open dialogue and understanding that not every day is going to be 50-50. That there are gonna be some days where you're
Yeah.
gonna have to carry 60-70% of that relationship, but, I think communication is obviously the biggest thing.
I
Kathy.
think so too. Sorry, I was just gonna. I forgot what I was gonna say. I had a sentence in my mind. Sorry.
No, I apologize. As usual, I'm always like, "Do, do, 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 do."
No.
We're both like, "Do, do, 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 do."
Yeah. I mean-
So, I just wanna say, Kathy Small, thanks for joining. Max said somebody had taken over the heart, so I appreciate that. Nightler said candlelight dinner on the moon. Now that if somebody could pull that off, I feel like I would be a little bit concerned on how I was getting to the moon because
I would prefer floating around space. That sounds more fun, doesn't it? Like the journey part. You can just like travel around galaxies and stuff.
yeah, but I still have to get there. Like, I still have to, like, leave this realm and, like, get up there. So, I don't know. I don't know. Rockets and shit sometimes scare the crap out of me. Monday's wife, thanks for joining. The stranger said, even sex is better. Nobody here cares about performance and any pressure. So I'm going to assume that's the moon. Are we talking about the moon? Yeah, they said, come visit us in the moon. Everything here is so crazy and lovely. So
Oh.
maybe we just need to get to the moon.
Yeah, I'm willing to take up on that invite.
Max says maybe there's a God above, and all I ever learned from love was how to shoot at someone who outdrew you. I love that, like, your natural reaction to that response is like, "I'm just gonna laugh." Like, Or Origin, thanks for joining. David said, "Hallelujah." Nightler said, "I like candlelight dinners anytime, FYI. No oxygen for candles to burn." That's interesting. Make your own rockets, sweetheart. I mean, if I could, I would. Close your eyes, you can go to the moon anytime. Who needs a rocket? Now that's true.
I
That is
don't think anyone has taken me to a candlelight dinner. That's what I'm thinking now. Not on the
interesting.
moon, like, this is like moon
But
is
as in
different.
general, like, you don't think you've participated in a candlelight dinner? Does it count, like, if it's in a not, like, in a restaurant, but, like, just, somebody's home that put like, lit
I
a
think
candle?
that's, like, even more special if someone is hosting me at their home for a dinner and they like moonlight candles and, like, moonlight, like, lighting candles on the table. That
Right.
must be nice. Yeah, I just spent one Valentine's with a boy. I only, like, out of 27 years, I just had one Valentine's where I had a boyfriend, and that was COVID.
Not well, lovely. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mac distracted because he was like, I was being a smart ass. Laughter was the right response, the right reaction, so yeah. But I'm glad we got this right. We both kinda looked at each other and laughed. "The moon is a state of mind." Great lyrics, Mac. Curiously Delulu, you need to perform a shot, please. Alright, moving on. Do you think people perform romance more than they practice intimacy?
100%.
Yeah?
That's, like, what I would definitely, cause like, I'm just gonna speak fully open of how I see things in this particular concept. So I believe, so since I'm a woman, I'm just gonna talk about the opposite gender. Like, so, like, I'm just gonna say man, but like just in general. So, like, for example, from where I see with my interactions with men, they all seem to have this pick me syndrome, where they all like want to register themselves as your like special someone, the one that you want, or like blah blah blah, the one that who gets your hopes up. Whereas they don't have any intentions of fulfilling those hopes. They just like to feel like that person, like chosen one. You know,
Yeah.
I have been studying this hypothesis for a while now, and I have enough proof to make it like a theory at this point. So what I see is when it comes to intimacy, if we are talking about physical sexual stuff, they're all like, I'm so sorry, male friends, but like from like what I saw, like they're all just so confident, and none of them would ever like really want to admit that like there might have been some intimacy issues, and like in terms of performance, is so they can fake it, so they choose to fake it, but they don't. So that's like just my idea of it.
Hmm. No, I mean, I think again, no, we're not shitting on any men or anything, but I do think that in my experiences, because believe it or not, I've been with more men than females. I think, like to your point, they believe that that act of performing is just whatever it is, and I don't think intimacy really is a part of it. I think it is just a performance. So, like, they'll do the romantic thing beforehand, right? Like, they'll buy you the flowers, they'll buy you the gift, the jewelry, but then when it gets to, "Okay, we're home now and we're in a bed," there's no actual intimacy that sometimes continues that. But Max says intimacy is hard, which I can respect somebody actually admitting. Alexi says, "Fear of intimacy protects you from something," which
I think so. I would say I agree. I kind of like not I don't like fear intimacy itself, but like in a like a mid genre of between like yeah intimacy. I would say fearing intimacy at this point is protecting me because like it yeah. What do you think?
yeah, I mean, I think any fear of something is I think its job is to quote unquote protect you. That's why you're kind of scared of it. But I think taking that leap into attempting something might open up something completely not fearful at all within somebody.
That's just my general view of fear. So in terms of like fear is supposed to be something that is I definitely see an area of growth in myself about just the things I just said, but just fear
Yeah.
generally it is it is guarding something that you are afraid of, and if you just accept that you're afraid of it and walk right straight through it, you'll be facing of the things that has been holding you back, and once that is done you'll be moving towards an area of growth because then there's nothing that can restrain you. So in terms of how you see fears, well, how I see fear as a compass that is allowing us to see where it's pointing as an area of growth, but like I am not like a superior. I have lots of fears, and I haven't. There are so many I haven't figured out yet. But I will definitely think about it about on this particular subject.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about fear in general, I just am like, well, what am I quote unquote afraid of at this time? And then I don't want to be the person that's like, I'm not afraid of anything because
Hmm.
I don't think that's true. But like you said, I do think that fear is an emotion that just points to something that is an opportunity to continue to grow from. So yeah, it's definitely something to continue to ponder upon, you know. But
It was
I am more likely at this point in my life if there's something that scares me to still do it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah, I will ponder about that too. I was just wondering, what's your greatest fear, do you think?
So I think the fear that I've had lately and why that I've, you know, done stuff in this space on Substack, why I've created writing and stuff as an outlet is not being remembered after I'm gone.
Oh, that's mine too. Yeah, that has been
Like
something that.
yeah, like
Mhm.
that's like the greatest I talked about it on on the one with Carlos. There's a scene in Coco, which is by far one of my favorite Disney movies, where there's a little old man of bones hanging out in a hammock and he's getting weaker and weaker because the people that are alive in real life continue to unfortunately move on. And when the last person who was alive that remembered this little skeleton man passed away, he disappeared. And it was just like that visual that is something that I'm just like I don't want to be forgotten
Me
when I'm no
too.
longer here. So I think legacy has become a big motivator of what I do nowadays.
Yeah, I have this. Yeah, that and immortality are inseparable lovers. That's how I like.
Yeah, but see, like, I'm not afraid to die. Like, I'm
No,
not
me
like I'm
neither.
not
Like,
right? Like, I'm not
but
like I
it's
wanna be here forever, but
no, but it's not about the idea of actual and physical death. Like everything that we do in life is governed by the fear of death itself. Like every fear itself is just something that rises from the fear of death. It doesn't only remind us that someday you're going to be buried under the ground. It just remembers how impermanent, in a mental psychological way, how much things, how the impermanence of life, or generally, how much is the clock on the wall is just like ticking. Everything is timed, so it's just like
right.
I believe like fear of disappearing, wiped out from the earth is quite related from what I see it, at least.
No, I mean, I don't think you're wrong in the way that you think about it in that way. Real quick, Alexi said one is scared of something that is hidden by fear of intimacy. Intimacy just gives you piece of garden that you can touch. The stranger said if you enjoy the journey rather than the destination, you'll have the best experience regardless of your performance. And I
Yeah.
and I can appreciate that. Nightler said, "Maybe not living up to someone's expectations." So, like, I don't have a fear of that. Why? Because your expectations of me are your own problem. That's kind of how I see it. And if I sound like an asshole right now, I apologize, but, like, the only person I live for is me, and the only person I live to, you know, for are my expectations that help push me to become whatever version of me that I want to. So it's I don't think I've ever had a fear of somebody else's expectations. You know,
Yeah.
if I don't meet what you're expecting, then, you know, then that there's a reason for that, that I'm not the right person for you at that time, whether we're talking about the spacey stuff of performing or just the everyday life stuff. Like, you know, I do believe that there are certain humans in this world that I will never connect with, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Like, and their expectations of me are not for me to carry, you know?
I think that mindset would only make you a role model, like you are mine at this point, because I see the same. But like for me, who has like as a person who has grown up trying to chase validation from other people so much, I'm aware that, and that's the mindset that I am mostly preaching towards to people, as well as trying to preach myself to convince myself. But like it's not all like for me, as since because of who I am, it's like I always say like expectations always leads to disappointments, and like
Right.
they're like not something that could be working in our benefit, because you'll be setting a bar, and anything below or far that is like from what you expect is a disappointment. So that's how I
Okay.
see it. But it's not always so easy for me, at least. Like I just try to pull my awareness whenever feel like I'm just forcing myself to fit under someone, what other people expect out of me. But just for those who think it's not so easy, I am with you. But it's about like pulling your awareness back to the moment when you realize that like your mental compulsions are not like, yeah. So just be aware.
Well, I mean, I can appreciate you saying that because I wanna just put, like, a little asterisk or footnote. The reason I can say this now is because I have spent a lot of my life
Mhm.
people pleasing and trying to conform myself to just be liked, and it's just like when you see the little old ladies who just don't give a fuck and they just say whatever they wanna say because it's earned. They've lived 80 years of something, so, like, they're, like, done with the politeness. I'm already there at 36. Like, that's how I feel, like, I've already earned the opportunity to just to speak in a certain way or to say certain things because, yeah, my expectations of other people have hurt me the most.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like,
True, true, true.
to expect somebody to be the way that I am in return to what I do is literally what has hurt me the most. So, I remove expectations from situations because it literally just hurts me. So, I don't try to live up to other people's expectations, and I don't put expectations on people. Does that make sense?
That makes the perfect sense. And I was thinking when you said like removing your expectations first is actually how you reflect your inner world to the outer part of it, you know? If
Yeah.
that makes sense. Because like if you don't, yeah.
No,
I,
I mean, I completely agree. Damon has a very interesting question for you. He says, "Has a man ever trusted you enough to be vulnerable with you?"
okay. I think yeah, they have. Like that's an interesting question, really. How can I actually know if
How
there
know
was
if somebody was being honest and vulnerable and genuine about what they shared with you, right?
yeah, like I there were a lot of times where I thought they were being vulnerable, but like I don't know. My experience from where I see is that people that I've been with, when they show, yeah, there was one person, and like he was really vulnerable with me, and like that was my first ever boyfriend in my life. He was like rude to others, like not in like a bad way, but he was just like seem rough on the outside. But from where I saw him, he was always like this sweet, kind person who's like almost like a man child, and I liked see. I liked seeing that part of him that was like something that based on our connection. Not
Mm,
most of the time, I believe men had shown me their vulnerability because even if they have, they just try to like but rebalance the power dynamics because most of the people that I've been with just saw want like exposing someone to their vulnerability as a weakness, so they just try to like restore the balance in toxic ways. That's just my experience.
and yeah, like you said, like, I think that sometimes it's hard to tell if somebody's genuinely being vulnerable too, or just like I had again, maybe I've just had some shitty relationships that have left me a little bit scarred where I'm just like,
Me
"Mm."
too. Like I'm just like having a hard time finding positive answers to this.
But to Nightler's point, they said, "You don't need to set the world on fire. A little smolder goes a long way." And I'm trying not to set it on fire. I am a fire sign though, so,
I'm an air
Yolanda
sign. No, not water sign. Sorry, sorry.
you're a
Rebalance.
water sign? Okay.
I'm a Scorpio. Yeah. If
Oh,
that's not
nice,
like
nice. Yeah, I think we said I think you might have said that the last time. I have a horrible memory. Yolanda said, "Valid point." Gary, thanks for joining. Max says, "I think we bear the greater responsibility for trust. That won't make me popular, but historically and evolutionary women bear the greater burden." Hmm.
I want to hear you.
So you mean that it's hard to trust men, or is it harder for men to trust women?
I think he's saying it's harder for women, but I'm not
To
sure.
trust,
So big.
and that's what I mean.
I'm
That's
not
what
sure
I
it's about trust, but yeah, greater burden.
Yeah. It just give me more clarification. IMI, what truths did you hide from the text and why?
Which text?
I don't know. Sierra said that's Sierra. Sierra said, "IMI, what truth did you
I'm
hide from
quite
the text?"
straightforward recently with the message that I sent to people, but I'm just if we get more clarification, I can say.
Max said I might be too stoned to be here. I'm going to zip it. No, you're not. Yeah, I figured that it was a general thing, but I was just saying, like, I have been told I am very fiery Nightler, so I also am very well aware of how sometimes my fiery self can come across people, and I'm never trying to burn anybody, I promise.
What is your fiery stuff?
What?
What is your fiery stuff?
But just because I feel like I'm a very passionate person, so when I am passionate about something, the way that I communicate it may come off a little bit more aggressive or
I
in my
see.
words, fiery. So that
Yeah,
people don't know how to take it and they don't know if I'm like mad or upset about it when I'm really just like passionate about whatever I'm speaking about. I
me
feel like
too.
that has been like a little bit of a disconnect for my life.
I feel that though. I am quite like I get really excited or just like passionate about the stuff that I'm talking or generally referring to. People either think I'm so I came across as too much a lot towards others. So yeah, that's just how like yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think it's anybody's too much. I think it's just certain people can hold certain weights, and that's fine. Nightler says some do fear not living up to expectations. I mean, I'm sure, and I definitely am never going to dismiss or belittle that situation. All I could say is that I would hope that the ones that do start understanding that, um, as long as you're meeting the expectation you hold for yourself, the type of person you want to be in this world, that is the only one that matters. That is just my opinion, though. Robert, thanks for joining. Um, Lynn said, "Such a refreshing combo." Well, thank you. We try here.
Mhm.
David says, "Is it tough to let the guard down because that is when you can be hurt?"
Yeah, I think like I for me that's the hardest. Like for a while, I it was. Then I lowered it a bit, and then now I'm like it's back up over like over my head now. It's like just yeah. So it's hard some for me to let the guard down at this point.
Well, I can respect that you're being very honest about it. I think, for me, my whole life, I think what I have maybe I should have guards up. Like, maybe that's something that I should have, and maybe the things that I've experienced should have hardened me or make me a little bit more standoffish with things, but for some reason, I am incapable of doing that because I want what I'm putting out. So I want to be able to lead and show somebody exactly what I would need in return. So I'm going to be honest and vulnerable and open, and if that's already from the beginning too much for you, then I already know that we're not compatible. We're not here for that. We're
But
not
there
here to
is
be the same person.
yeah, but there is a law that is backing you up on this, law of attraction. Like the law, so you're backed up by the universe itself.
Well, I'm waiting for it to finally pay off, but, that that has literally just been my mentality is that, like, I'm not gonna shrink who I am anymore
I
or
think so.
change or anything like that just because of the fact that I've been it's like I keep doing it a certain way, and it's like, it's not I don't think I don't think it didn't work out. I think it showed me what I needed to learn at that time to continue to move and progress in the ways that I was supposed to. I don't think I'm behind. I don't think I'm ahead. I think I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I
I
think
was
that
gonna say that,
yeah,
yeah.
I just think that, like, the fact that it hasn't necessarily, quote, unquote, "worked for me" doesn't mean that it's not going to. So I'm not gonna give up on things.
I don't think you should, and I really like the way when you phrase like I don't think that like you don't see things at the should perspective. Like I should be. I think that's a really important thing because like that's what I've been taught in my training that I'm taking in CBT right now. So if you think something as a should, must, ought to, have to, then it turns into a demand, and which gets you stuck in a state where you're trapped in an irrational belief. And if it doesn't happen, because nothing is like really the law of the universe. So like not the reader, little watchers, viewers, like if like anything that feels like end of the world when it doesn't happen, the idea of it not happening, nothing is the end of the world except the end of the world itself. So it's like those should, all of those phrases are just ways of like imprisoning ourselves in our minds.
Yeah, I think I definitely again, it's earned wisdom and knowledge at this point. I definitely can remember a version of myself that was completely devastated anytime a relationship failed, um, and really did feel like it was the end of the world. What am I gonna do now? What do you mean? Like, this person doesn't wanna be with me? And again, within time and understanding of oneself and the lessons that were to be learned during those times by those people, I've gotten to the place where it's now like any relationship that didn't work out, I have to believe it did work exactly how it was supposed to.
That's such a nice way to see it. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Well, I mean, it definitely does better for the mental. That's what I'll say. you know. Nightler
True.
said that they're an air sign, Gemini. What up? Nicole, thanks for joining. Nightler said it's all good, Marlena. Thank you. If people can't handle your heat, let them burn. Mm, that's what I think. That's where I'm probably a little bit more at. But again, I'm not trying to intentionally burn anybody. Like that's never my intention. But if it happens, then don't get too close to fire. Passion is good. I completely agree. So Max said historically, women have been more vulnerable to the whims of men. Evolutionary, it applies because the maternal role has historically been a position of vulnerability. I think you, for a man who's stoned, I think that you expressed that so eloquently. So thank you for that clarification. And I don't think that I can disagree with that at all. So um, Nightwish said exactly, always true to yourself. Absolutely. Max says, I don't mean we should adhere to rules or anything like that. Agreed. Laura, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Nicole said, hi, Laura and folks. Regulus, I don't know how to say that name.
Vigolous. I'd say
Rigolith, yes.
vigolous, yeah.
Regolith, hi. Damon, your realness repels fakeness. Yeah. And so for a long part of my life, when relationships would end, they would end in a way. And I feel like I'm having a deja vu moment where I said this the last time we had a live, but they would end in a way where the other person ghosted, like they just disappeared.
Mhm.
And I think for a really long time, meaning up until like recent week or so, I kept like trying to answer like, why do I keep losing people? And I
Mhm.
think what I came to the understanding was it's easier for people to disappear from my life because then they don't have to hold themselves accountable for what the mirror that I'm holding up to them. It is
That's
easier to move on from people when you don't have to be held accountable by that said person. Because I believe that I would be able to be friends with any of my exes, but because of the way that they chose to leave,
yeah.
it made sure that that would not happen because they were not able to stand in front of the mirror and deal with the things that I was exposing that they needed to deal with.
I love that, and I'm quite inspired by what you just said, yeah.
Well, again, I think shifts of perspectives are really necessary for people to continue to evolve in their own growth. And at the end of the day, the way that you feel about yourself, the way that you think of yourself, the way that you support yourself and appreciate yourself is really all that matters. And it does transcend in the way that you show up in the world. And then, to inspire anybody is my biggest like goal. Like being authentically me and communicating the way that I do, if that ever inspired or motivated somebody to continue to work towards something better for themselves, that literally is like goal achieved, you know?
Yeah.
But
Being yourself phrased as it is just something that is inspiring. I think like regardless of who you are, just having that courage to absolutely be yourself is an inspiration.
yeah, I mean, again, I think that that's for me very earned because my like childhood, I wasn't allowed to be me to if I did. I mean, if I was, I just didn't choose that. I wanted the friends. I wanted to feel like I fit in and belonged. So I unfortunately at a young age learned how to shrink and conform to what other people felt was acceptable so I could just have a friend. And that's not really a friend, you know? So I think over time, now that I can sit at a table completely by myself and not quote unquote have said friends, I feel better about myself because I still know that I'm at least being who I am.
Yeah.
And, I will attract the things that I'm working towards. And the fact that they haven't shown up yet just continues to remind me that I'm still on my own path of growth and stuff. So the rebirth is coming. It just takes a while.
No, it does. Like it's like being is becoming itself, isn't it?
hmm all right, guys, let's get into another question. Nicole said you took the lesson with you. I did. There's a As usual, I can't keep up with the chat. God damn it. All right. Anyways, what's more romantic to you? Consistency or grand gestures?
Definitely consistency. I like like grand gestures like don't follow through like especially when it happens earlier, like from what I've seen that's some sort of a like it's especially in the beginning feels like a love bombing that doesn't feel like I'm not sure. I'm sorry for giving such depressive answers, but like I'm just like that's how I see it now. Like for me, if someone is doing grand gestures all the like not all the time, but like that's what how they engage with me, then that feels like unreliable, and I feel like that's not going to be consistent. So I have established these rules, made 1 or 2 years ago with my friends, rules of the broken sisterhood club, which one of them is like, if a person is like making grand gestures and like giving big promises from the very start, that's for me is kind of a red flag. But maybe throughout the relationship, still, if like doing a grand gesture once in a while, but not being consistent in the way they show warmth, I would rather consistency.
I don't. I want to correct you for 2 seconds. I don't think you're giving depressing answers. I think again you're giving lived experiences and
Yeah,
wisdom answers. I think um, love bombing is a real thing, and I think in the beginning, if somebody is constantly overwhelming you with grand gestures, to me it is a little bit more of a red flag than a beautiful thing.
right.
Now, if over a consistency of 30 years, they continue to grand gesture their way through it, then cool,
Well,
that's them,
let
that's their love
them.
language, like, that's what it is. But if it is only for the first 3 to 6 months of the relationship, then yes, you have got your answer. They are not
Yeah,
able to be consistent about what they were doing, which means that they were, in my opinion, love bombing you, and
yeah.
that does usually have layers to the whys. And in my experience, again, it's just mine, just mine. Love bombing usually associates with narcissistic traits. So
That's right, isn't it? Like I have, yeah, okay.
I'm not calling them narcissist. I'm saying narcissistic style traits. So just
When
also,
I look back, like, yeah, that's testimony proves itself through my experience as well. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's okay to appreciate consistency over grand gestures. I also think it's okay for partners to provide grand gestures if it's in a consistent way. You know, I think everybody has their own thing. I know people that love to do, like, big, extravagant things for their partner. It becomes toxic if, again, you now are expecting that in return, and that is not what your partner's love language is. Because maybe your partner's love language is, like, acts of service, so they constantly make
Yeah.
yourself breakfast or, make sure that you have air in your tires or something like that because they care. Make sure your car has a full tank of gas or something like that.
Those are so sweet though. Those are the best kind of ways. Like for me at least, like I'm an act of service person, and like even just a single gesture that they're being thoughtful of me, like something tiny doesn't have to be grand. Like sometimes those kind of things matter more
I
than
mean,
the big, yeah.
yeah, I completely agree, like, learn my coffee drink and, make
Yeah,
sure that I make sure that I
so
get
like, sorry, what were you
go
saying?
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so I tend to forget things a lot, and I tend to fall a lot because I'm a really clumsy person, and I just break things a lot. So, like, if someone, because like there have been people who have done that in the past. If like when we're leaving a place, and then if they look bit after me to see if I like left anything there, like that's a way of like a tiny, tiny way. It's like that means, oh, you know me now, kind of way.
Yeah, and I think when people pay attention to people, like, even if, let's say, we have visited, multiple different places of eating, and I have been very consistent in the things that I order, and now all of a sudden you decide to make it for me. Like, again, just paying attention to details, those to me, those go much longer or than any extravagant, situation, or gesture or gift giving or anything like that. Like, I'm not really that type of person, but I understand that they are those people exist, so that's, I'm not gonna take that away from them. Um
So, so, so
I'm not doing that. Anyways, getting back to a little bit of this chat, I am trying to catch up. Sunflower says, "I am Taylor Jackson Kinney. Nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you. Follow me, please. Need more friends." So if anybody, let me see if I can get in here.
I agree with
Can
you
I?
there.
Firefighters. Sorry. So I'm just trying to be nice. I just subscribed, Sunflower. Um, David said, "Powerful." Mike, thanks for joining. Nightler said, "There's only one you shine, trying to the best that I can." Max said, "I failed at so many relationships because I tried to win something, but every win was a compounded loss." So I feel like I want to, like, know more about what are you trying to win that now it feels like a compounded loss.
I until he responds from like what I don't try to win in the beginning of the relationship, but if it's going down the road, like if it's going the bad, I just really try to. I have had tried to win the breakups and like the way it ends. Now it looks more like walking out with dignity for me, like.
Well, my thing is just like I'm not here to make somebody feel lesser than or inadequate or anything like that. So if I know that after the first couple of days of talking to somebody, I'm not going to be an asshole, but I'm going to be like, maybe it's best that we just say like become like focus on being a friends. Like, some people just know off the bat if there's like a chemistry and a compatibility from the beginning, and why try to force something that's not necessarily what needs to be happen. Lynn said very healthy mindset. David said truth. Let me in. Very mature. What's kind of crazy that I feel like people are saying that because I'm just like, am I?
You are truly. I was just thinking, like
I
not in
still
a.
feel I still feel 16, so that's what's funny. Go.
But that's like a treasure. I kind of like have a more of a toxic mindset when I compare myself to you in these kind of matters. Like I fully get the ideology. Like I back it up. I second that all the way. Like it's not about those kind of things, but I have tried to make people feel bad. So, like oh, just generally what you have said, like because there sometimes ego intervenes and like hurts can make people do some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody that okay, so I have grown up my whole life as a Leo. I am a Leo, and people have this like immediate like, oh, you must have a big ego, or you must think everything is about you, or blah blah blah, whatever. I think I killed my ego a long, long time ago. Like it doesn't exist in my world. It's not necessary. Egos to me are extremely toxic. I rather just politely bow the fuck out. It doesn't matter. My dignity, my integrity, the way that I carry myself means more to me than winning a battle temporarily. And that is just, again, how currently feel. Was there a time in my life that I was petty? Yes. I
That's
mean,
weird.
there was times where I definitely, intentionally said things or did things to hurt people. And what I learned from those was I don't want to it made me feel uckier about myself, and I don't want to live with that uckiness. It's never to me now it's not worth it. But I've said and I've done some crappy things to some people, and again, everything is a learned experience. I don't want to do that anymore. Like that's just where I have arrived at. But
I
it doesn't mean that I've always been this way, okay?
but that just sounds very healthy. And let me rephrase what I just said. Like from my experience, it was like not deliberately trying to hurt other people, but it was trying to be less hurt on your own. And
Mhm.
that's like reflects on your experience. For like, yeah, it turns into like if I were to phrase it in the most accurate way, it turns into winning a breakup again. But that win is not to make the other person lose, but make yourself a bit better about everything that have happened. So it's kind of like a defense mechanism, maybe, or like a coping way.
Well, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I think now that you've explained it that way, I think I completely understand what you're saying, and I think I've been on the receiving end of stuff like that. Because I'm like, I've been so loyal to a fault. Like, I don't ever to me, everything is fixable. Like, if 2 people want something, it is you're able to work towards it, and I'm always able to want to put the work in for it. So, I don't think I think I again feel déjà vu. I feel like I said this last time. I've never left any of my partners. They've all left me. They've
Me
all
too.
been the ones they've all been the ones to say, "Peace," and then disappear. Like, I've never waved the white flag. I never say, "You know what? I can't do this anymore." And again, that's a part of my own growth is understanding that the only reason that happened was because I let the boundaries fall. I let people continue to just take advantage and do things because I wanted their proximity more than I wanted to be by myself, you know? So now that there's a comfortability with being alone in
Yeah.
essence, I'm not in the same space where I feel like I would just allow people to just do whatever they want to do. I think boundaries are healthy and important in any type of dynamic, whether, a romantic relationship or even just a friendship. So
I am the same. I quite relate with what you said, like wanting people to stay. So that's why, like, kind of compromising from your own boundaries, and it doesn't feel like that way while you're compromising because it's just like you
You
stay
think you're
like,
doing something good. You think you're,
you,
you're being a good
yeah,
person.
yeah. Not only a good person, like, you're doing it act of love for the people, the person you care about. So you don't see it in a way of like a bad thing that you're doing to yourself. It's just like everything else. It's about reciprocity, I think. Because I was the same. I think I may still be the same, but I'm just like not in a way. I'm quite proud of myself. Lately, I'm good with boundaries.
I'm proud of you too. Nicole says something interesting. People don't understand how offensive love bombing is. It's practically a
Definitely.
declaration of their bet against your intelligence.
I think love bombing is one of the most cruel things a person can do to another. Like that can get really, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, because again, I think it's manipulative, right? So they think that they can do things to manipulate what they want from you, and it is going against your intelligence. So I
Like
totally
it,
agree with that.
yeah, also it's kind of like if you're not intentionally doing it and if you don't plan on continuing, like you don't have to like love bomb all the time, but it's you don't plan on consistency in that level. It's just so cruel for the other person. And if you're such a romanticizer like me, it's like you have this story plot. Like I do it for the plot, many things a lot of the time. And like if I have this perfect story, I'm gonna romanticize everything out of it. And like once I'm quite delusional, I'm not lying, because I have like a powerful imagination. So I can see like things in my mind and like get excited for them. Like even if people are not as delusional as me.
I don't.
like
I don't think it's delusional. It might be more aligned, like
I lie, yeah.
alignment and attunement within yourself. So I get that. I mean, I've definitely struggled with getting excited for the things that I see sometimes, and I can respect when people like can see like what their vision is so clearly that it does excite them.
Yeah. It does.
Uh,
And it's like related with like the big meeting that I like if you just like keep me on that state, but I see yourself as something that makes me feel so upward or something feels that like butterflies in the stomach and etc. And if you're not just if you that means if it's no consistency, then that love bombing is only for their ego because they like the way that they make you feel. And I believe just like that is so cruel to do to someone. And then they go like, the vicious cycle like love bombing, gaslighting and ghosting.
Yeah, that's literally my ex-girlfriend, so Um, Max said, "IMI's honesty is refreshing, not depressing." Exactly. I'm glad that you confirmed
What
that.
what did he say?
Um, IMI's honesty is
Oh,
refreshing, not
okay, thank
not
you.
depressing. And then he said, "Know thyself." Nightler said, "Holding hands." Tim Nick's during, and then Max said, "And know how your partner likes their eggs." Simple, like again, simple things like under paying attention to people's idiosyncrasies to me the most interesting thing about getting to know somebody. Nightler said, "Little things mean a lot." Damon, an unwritten love language is attention.
For me, yeah, I love attention.
Yeah, but I thought that is a love language.
No, it's like not like out of the 4
Well, like
main
spending
ones.
time, I love spending time with my partners. Why would I want to spend my life with you if I don't want to spend any time with you, or I didn't want to give you attention? Like to me, like that's something that like I've come into contact where like my partners are like, you want to spend too much time, and we rather see you in 3 days, and I'm like, well, then what is that?
Maybe like attention in the context is not just about spending time, but just like making
Giving full attention in like in a situation, that makes sense. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate you. I knew I had you here for something. I'm just kidding. Nicole said a point, an argument, but you lose the person, I guess. So I can't remember what we're talking about, but
Me neither.
that's I'm sorry.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
Max said, yeah, winning the breakup. Peace, y'all. Thank you for the genuine authenticity. Damon, thanks for being here. Nightler said it's a journey. It's always a journey. It is Max said it is about ego, not in the sense that all ego is wrong. It's like armor that you put on that says you can't hurt me and I won't let you.
I quite appreciate Mike's effort in this like comments because it's like quite philosophical and elegant. Everything he says here, just generally.
Well, apparently that's what him being stoned is like, and I can appreciate that. Um, so we have lost curiously Delulu and Ragolith. They both said adios, but they've appreciated the live. We appreciated you being here. Nightler said, I think you're both awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Down with weaponized love, said Max. Plastic love. All right, moving. Sierra Sarah said, back, I am I. Who is the real witness in your writing?
My inner child.
I mean, yeah, I
That's like a straight answer coming from me because like that's like I see sometimes I write a lot about my family, but I just write about people. I only write for myself, and
mm,
like yeah, so just like I think it's reviving that little girl whenever I just like yeah write something that I like.
they said that's interesting. I love the way that you just like quickly answered that too. Like there was literally no thought. My inner child, my inner child is my witness of my writing, and I love that. I think
Okay.
sometimes I try to specifically have like that, like give that little girl like the stage. Like,
Mhm,
what do you want to talk about? Like, what do you want to say? You know.
mhm.
They said, when did you choose silence over clarity?
Interesting question. What do you think?
Um, so for me, I have just recently learned that my silence sometimes could go a lot further than me exhausting myself to clarify for somebody else. I don't know
Right.
in like the context that this is
Mhm.
kind of asking. So I no longer participate in like helping other people clarifying things for other people. I rather choose my own silence and let people think whatever they want to. But I don't really know in context.
Wait. So you don't wait. Can you explain a bit more?
So if like somebody has gone out of their way to misunderstand me, I don't spend time trying to, like, clarify something for that person,
Yeah.
engage with that person. I'd rather just let them meet my silence. Because like, if you're already going out of your way to, like, not understand what I'm saying, I don't no longer have the energy to clarify it for you. So that's where I would choose silence
Okay.
over clarifying, like clarification.
Well, that's not like I guess what you mean. Like, I think that's like a way of preserving and your energy as well, because you never gave them anything or said anything that will cause them to think that way, like the misunderstanding. So that's kind of like I get where it's like I think that yeah.
Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna switch to another question real quick. Um, do you think I don't even like the way that I kinda worded this question, so bear with me, people, but do you think we're better or worse at love than past generations?
Passion what?
Past generations.
Past generations. I think we are like kinda like from like I just told tell this because I just compare my idea of love with my parents and like my both of my parents have grew up with like very inadequate financial resources. So they had to work hard. And then my idea of like the love that the idea of love that my father grew up with was to give money to his children, like not to connect him with us in another particular way. But I know he loves me more than anything else in this world. But it's just like sometimes, like I think like it's just a general thing with the past generations where they don't care about like and not they care about another level of growth because they mostly about them. It was about a bit more surviving and like other kind of things in this world. Whereas we are a generation where we can look inward, countless existential crises, try to identify what we are lacking, what we feel in love. So just we just tend to do those things a lot, I believe. So since like we are willing to look in ourselves to see our reality and change it if it needs, they are kind of not. And like from my example with my parents, like I needed connection and he just kept giving me money. So he never understood because he always thought he was giving me what he lacked.
Mm.
And like yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that you said that because I feel like my father also, uh, strays away from any type of emotional connection and will be more of the, like, "How can I help you in real life right now?"
Yeah,
Like,
that's
so
exactly how my father is too.
yeah, like, and so I don't again, I don't really like the way that I worded it because I don't think anybody's better or worse than anybody. That's not a competition, but I think that the growth is different. I think that the understanding of what love like, the kind of love that we want just looks different than the ones that our parents may have had, the
Yeah.
opportunity to live through it. So, my family, my parents are divorced. My mom remarried, and I think when I remember her with my dad, there was such lack of intimacy. They're like, I never saw them kiss, I never saw them hold hands, I never saw them, have a hug, like, give each other hugs or anything, and that also lacked in their interactions with me and my sister. Like, I didn't really feel like I was hugged often, I didn't feel like I was kissed a lot as a kid or, told I love you, like, those things didn't happen between my parents, and so, like, it also just didn't happen within the household, but then I watched my mom with her husband and, like, talk about fucking little kids. 60-year-olds freaking all over each other all the damn time, holding hands, kissing, and I'm like, "What?" Constantly telling each other that they love them, and I'm like, What happened?" It's like my mom went back to high school, and that's apparently where when she first met my stepdad, so it was just it's an interesting dynamic to see, and I love that for her, and I love that she, got a different version of love. She had, like, the one, like, "Hey, this is the man that helped me build the the family, like, was reliable in the way of providing, but then in my later life, I had my companion that showed me appreciation through intimacy. So,
Mhm.
I can appreciate that my mom got that experience. Bye, Nicole. Uh, says, see you ladies, love what you are doing. Thanks." Stable, I said, "Bye, Nicole." So I was like "Bye, Nicole?" So yeah, so it's very interesting, I think, the way that each generation views, I guess, love, you know?
Yeah.
Do you see Max? So Max says, "I don't doubt my parents loved each other, but they never expressed it, and we didn't understand love languages then." Yeah, so I think it's pretty similar to, my experience of growing up in my household. It was definitely different. It was more like, these are 2 people surviving together as opposed to, these are 2
Yeah,
people
that's
that love
so
each
true.
you know?
Mhm.
Um, Alrighty, righty, ready. I was like, let's make sure I don't read the same questions. I haven't read all of them, but I'm apparently being strategic about which ones I decide to ask. Um, have you ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have just to not be alone on Valentine's Day?
No, not in Valentine's Day, because that wasn't like I have stayed longer in a relationship that was like should have ended earlier, but not because of Valentine's Day. But if like there were like a close up Valentine's Day up like towards like the breakup time, it's just like it was going bad for a while. I just may have just spent the Valentine's Day, but now I also think would that make it even more miserable? So yeah, I generally if it were hypothetically to happen, I wouldn't, I think. You?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever I think I've 100% stayed in all of my relationships a lot longer than I should have ever been in them, but I've never stayed with anybody just to not break up before Valentine's Day. I do remember, like, my last boyfriend, staying with him longer because his one of his grandparents passed away, and it was just like, I can't, like, now
Mhm.
tell him, like, "Bye."
That yeah.
Like, it was like one of those things, but yeah, I don't think I've ever actually stayed just so that I wasn't alone on Valentine's Day.
No, no, yeah, this is something different, yeah.
But it was I've been, I knew that the answer probably if I didn't add that was probably going to be a yes because I do think unfortunately a lot of
For
us are people
sure.
pleasers and stay a lot longer than we should have. So
Yes.
Lynn said, "Totally same. My parents were surviving together, married over 60 years. Worst example of how to be in a relationship." You know, and it's like I don't think our parents think about the
They don't
that
realize.
right, that they're also setting and it's interesting because they were kids, right? So again, what they're doing is also what was probably shown to them. So when you think about, like, your grandparents, like, my mother's parents were divorced, And my father's parents were happily married for, I think, 25 years before my grandmother passed away with cancer, from cancer. So, but their dynamic was different. My grandmother tolerated my grandfather. So it was a whole bit of different things. So I think, again, because I'm aware of the dynamics of my grandparents, I can understand why my parents are the way that they are. And I don't think that they understood that the examples that they were kind of showing me and my sister, like my mom being the way that she was, it just kind of showed me and my sister that a part of loving somebody is to tolerate people,
Mhm.
to overextend for people,
Yeah.
to bend for people, you know? Like, I don't think she understood when she was actively living it that that's
Mhm.
kind of the example that she was showing. And then, like, my dad, so this is why for me, I think I do this often in my relationships, it's like he was the provider, so I think if I pay for everything, if I just set up everything, if I just do everything for my partner, that I love them. Like that's they have to see that I obviously love them. And then obviously for the wrong person could take advantage of somebody like that, right?
Mhm.
Like if you're overextending them that way, then the wrong person's like, oh well, this person pays for everything. So
Yeah, that's like that happened.
right. So it
Yeah.
just like I don't think that our parents unfortunately even understand what we witness as kids, how much it really does impact. And I think, as that's the cool part about having conversations openly is that, as we continue to move older in ourselves is like, I would if you're ever going to have a child at I think you'll be a little bit more self-aware of the actions that you're
Mhm.
performing in front of your children. And this is how like generational traumas kind of come to an end because somebody becomes self-aware.
I think so. By the way, I quite relate what you said about your like mother and grandmother because like my mom is basically the Christianer of our family. Like she always overextends. Or I don't think four of us, me and my sisters and my dad, would have made it this far at all if it wasn't for her. Like she doesn't even speak English, but she done my university homework, which was like my I studied psychology in English. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is here is that my mom is the same and my grandmother was the same. So she copied her, but like from like sentiment, like my mom is also a cold-blooded person at the same time. So like I don't know, it's like just I can go until the morning about reflecting on these patterns and can say maybe it's one side of her that is like giving and the other side is the energy balancing, but it's just how she saw from her mother. So just
Yep. I mean, I think it's a cool space to be though sometimes if you're the person that finally can recognize the family patterns and
yeah.
identify them and really like again I don't want it to then also dismiss the bad behavior. No, I think I try to hold my family accountable for, yeah, I get why you do this, but it's still not okay to do this,
Yeah, I
you
agree.
know?
Yeah.
Both Alexi and Lynn said that they never got hugs either, minimal affection. So, while I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I'm still sad for all of us. You know?
Yeah, but like I'm like it's so interesting. My father's way of showing his love is like mostly through criticism. Like when you like it's like not maybe like hug wise because like I don't know if like we hug, but like in another level, like sometimes it's all we all have been exposed to like parental relationships when we're not getting the sentiment, like the attached, the right kind of. I'm not sure if it's called right, but like sometimes physical, sometimes emotional, sometimes psychological. I
Yeah.
cleaned my flat for 5 hours before my parents got here. 2 weeks ago, I was like quite proud of it. It hadn't been cleaned maybe for the last year. And my father walked in and said, wow, look at this mess. And like the rest of this holiday, like I was like talking about him about my posts, about my writings, like, but dude, like he's never saying something good. His way of saying something good is saying what I'm lacking, you know? So like that has been my experience. Yeah.
Right, so again, I could probably justify no, not justify it, but understand his behavior because that's probably what his dad did to him,
Yeah.
like, nitpick the shit probably out of him, and it was
Mhm.
very hard to just get a compliment from his father, so he just thinks that he's just doing what is normal
Yeah.
behavior until somebody holds him accountable, like, "Bro, wildly disrespectful. Wildly disrespectful
Yeah.
that you continue to choose this," but, family dynamics are extremely difficult. I literally was on the phone the other day with my mom, and I was like, "I still am trying to figure out why my soul was like, I wanna live during this time in this body with this fucking family. Like, and she starts laughing, and she's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "I don't know why I chose you as my mom, and my dad as my dad, and my sister as my si you guys drive me fucking crazy." Like,
Yeah.
there's obviously a reason for it, and that's and again, that depends on what you believe in. So, like, it was just something like I do, like, joke about, like, my soul picked this life for a reason, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, it's a murder mystery night, so, but it is to me, it's just like I am here with this family for a reason, and I have to figure out why, and I do spend a lot of time now, talking to my grandparents, which helps me
Oh,
continue to understand my parents, which, in turns continues to understand myself, so
that's quite nice though. And also, I love grandparents. I love old people generally. So like,
and it's
yeah.
such an age discrepancy. My dad's dad is gonna be 93 this year, and my mom's mom is only in her 70s. So, it's like it's such an age difference, but, Alexi
But
said
it
they were
was like normal around. Maybe they're like, yeah. Anyway,
my mom's mom, she ran away from home at 16 and married my grandfather and had my mother and my uncle young, so that's why
that's she
she's
ran
young.
away.
Yeah,
Wow.
so she was just, she was just being a crazy lady, and she's still a crazy lady, but,
But I
she was
respect her a lot.
yeah, but she just happened to do it young, so that's all. Alexi said they were choosing battles, not showing affection, and I think unfortunately sometimes that's what parents are the predicament that they're put in. Like, I don't think it's always intentional. So Max said, "Do you think our social media landscape has made us more open or more closed off emotionally?"
I'm generally and more closed off. Like I'm just more open now with myself. Just like from my experience, my health. So like I wasn't able to talk about my health that things that have happened in the past. So like I'm like having trouble walking. Like I found that to say that quite like it would bring me so much shame, and I would always think that the other person was looking down on me. I'm just gonna plainly say it. I have it on all of my posts, but to tell someone that I have Parkinson's was just like I wouldn't. At first, like it's especially in romantic relationships. Whenever I said it, I felt myself so insecure because even something bad had happened later that I'm not aware of, but for them as a reason to pull back, I will just relate it with okay, but you have this, so that they don't like writing here and sharing with people on here and like so I just stopped saying it because it was making me feel insecure. Kind of, I'm not gonna lie, in a deficient in a way. I am not, and I have made my peace with it, but just that was my thought pattern. Whereas when I started writing here, I have I just say it like I have to at first like give this statement like please don't let's not go into puppy dog eyes, this is normal, and then give like tell them what it is openly in that minute without saying anything else, and I owe that to this platform and to everyone who is like supporting me and reading me and like in everyone else's work to people just are so open and we connect through those kind of things. So I think that's the real intimacy, and I more feel more intimate with you guys than I feel with any of my partners that have. Yeah. So just generally, I think that could be bring intimacy another kind of
Well, I mean, at the
dimension.
well, first of all, I appreciate you sharing that with us. I think the spaces matter, right? Like, so even though Substack is a platform, I think the environment that it brings, that it festers is more of a positive one, of a supportive one that really is genuine to a community. So I think when people feel that type of support, they're more likely to be open. And like my whole Substack is about sharing your journey and talking about the things that you're going through because you have to understand that by doing that, you are helping the next person.
Yeah.
Like, you don't wanna it's to me, it's the metaphor of I've walked through dark rooms, and I've never left them dark. I left the light on for the person behind me because I know that I'm not the only one going through something similar. So, being able to be open and free to talk about the things that are unique to you and your experiences, but understanding that, they shed lights on others is a beautiful thing to do, in my opinion. So I appreciate you, sharing so much of
Mhm.
yourself with us and the rest of your subscribers and everything like that. Um,
Thank you.
and always agreeing to do these things with me because, I apparently force you to be honest.
No, I didn't say that. You just misunderstood. Okay.
No, 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 not like that. I mean, I just mean like I like the platform, the the inner room itself is designed to
Like open up.
encourage honesty and, um, be comfortable with, like, who you are and stuff, that's all.
It really does feel like a safe space. And I was like, we were like before going live, that was I was like telling you, it feels like I don't know, it's just generally, that it feels like so. So thank you for holding this space.
Well, it's literally my honor, so I appreciate anybody that, joins and participates, whether in the chat or as a co-host. Alex said, "My dad and I communicate by sending him a daily report of my schedule. That's how we keep in touch." That is very interesting. That is very
Alex is right. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
he checks up on you, Alex. What like how do
or
you
it's just like you run through your schedule, like, so that
maybe like
they're
catch
just
each other in
aware.
the breaks? Like, like he knows when he's having a break, calls him up. We need more content.
More context, please. Lynn said relationships sure are complicated. They are, but I also think they're beautiful if people allow them to be. Like, you know, complicated isn't always a negative thing. Um,
That's such a nice thing to say. Yeah, complicated isn't always a negative thing. I like that perspective.
I mean, I'm a human that is I'm well aware that I'm complicated, but it doesn't mean that I'm a bad human. So that's how I see
Not
it.
at all. I think complicated is just like a phrase for interesting most of
Yeah.
the time.
Alexia said I don't talk to my dad. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, my screen is, like, freezing on me 'cause my battery is probably going so I might have to end this, sooner than later, my friend.
Okay, it's okay. So yeah, Alex says, "Tell him where I went, what did I do, and who I talked to." From like a request for more context.
That's very interesting. Like, he needs to know everything still. Is it
Mm,
like a controlling thing?
that could be like I think so. From
Again,
what-
I'm not judging anybody's dynamics of anything. I'm just intrigued by the processes. Lynn said, "My dad nitpicked he was beaten as a child, so criticism was an improvement." Yeah, I mean,
that's It's great to see you too, Sam. I just
sorry, I'm so behind on whatever's in.
no, it's okay. That's
Okay,
mostly like yeah.
okay, good. Also, I'm getting annoyed that I'm a little lagged for whatever reason. Lynn said, "Authentic writing lends itself to deeper intimacy with fellow authentic writers." Well, that's all that I am hoping for over here, my friends. Um, really like someone is the best foundation for any really liking someone is the best foundation for any relationship.
I
When
think
you say
like
but I was
yeah.
saying,
So
when you say that, like, is it, like, liking to spend time with them? What do you mean by, like, really liking someone?
what do you tell? Like, what's your take? Just tell our takes before they answer. So, from like, what do you think of? Like, what is really liking someone to you?
To me, is like people that really enjoy my company is, to me, what
But
helps
you
having
liking someone, like,
I don't know.
that's an interesting because for me, really liking someone, of course, is like looking forward to spend time with them is one aspect. Um,
But I have to like the conversations, like, I have to like the activities that we jointly do together, like.
For me, if I really like someone, it's just like a basic, if they're speaking and if I'm quite smiling as large as like my smile can get, that's probably because I'm just fascinated by what they're saying. And
Mm.
I completely share their opinion. I just don't voice it out loud because like I know it. And like, yeah, that big smile that appears on my face without thinking any other stuff besides what he's saying to me is me really liking someone.
I love that everybody's like, "Yeah, well, you can love someone and not like them." But yeah, liking is, I guess, the thing. I guess if I really like someone, I think unfortunately my ADHD makes me hyper focus on them or fixate on them. Like, that's
I
how I know that I like them because I'm a little bit more hyper fixated on them, if that makes sense. Yes, they are the smile on your face. Alright, I'm gonna pick one wrap-up question, and as usual, I cannot believe that I got another opportunity to spend some time with
Oh,
you.
this
Uh,
was
this
amazing.
this is this has been fun. Um, I feel like I'm gonna know the answer to this question, but, it is the last question that I came up with, and I just wanted to end the live with something that was more reflective, I guess. If future you could redefine Valentine's Day, what would it look like, and who would it be for?
I would like it's gonna like this is what I want to say, although it's like could sound cliche, but I would just like make Valentine's Day like Val me day or something like just generally me day. And if like like if it's gonna be turning into if it's supposed to turn into the day where we spend with our partners or people we love, this just will be their way of honoring their me day because they just enjoy your company. So it will be a day without expectations and like only for just like enjoying yourself. And in doing so, spending with someone else, having the day to spend with someone else is not because you want to please any other way, but it's just like you enjoy someone's company, not because you feel forced to be with them or any other way.
Mm. I love that, and I love the valid me day. Like,
Well, me.
I like that. I hope we all have a valid me day in 4 days, and, if anybody is feeling lonely or anything, I hope this, Valentine's Day themed live kinda helps you, 1, not feel lonely, 2, understand that you're not the only single ones. We're out here single too, and we're gonna make the best of it. Um, I think I'm looking forward to the most of picking something. I'll probably make pizza because that's what I love making. But Valentine's Day gets to be whatever you make it, and I think by naming it Vala Me Day,
Yeah.
that emphasizes that very much. Max said your questions are tight, Ada. Thank you. I pride myself on coming up with questions that really spark conversations and allow people to be genuinely themselves. Yes, pizza, Kevin. Those, that's my favorite thing. So I might do that. But thank you again. IMI, because I remember, like, when I think we made this in December, like, we talked about doing this, so I'm so excited that they finally came.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
before we log off and everything, I wanna let everybody know in 24 minutes, I will be hosting my first open room where IMI, you're welcome to join as well.
Yeah.
It's a Zoom link. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. It is just another safe space for anybody who wants to continue a conversation, with me or without me. I guess I can shut off my camera and let other people just talk for once. Um, but it will be, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if anybody is interested. You could definitely meet me there. Kim, thanks for joining. Unfortunately, we are
We're
gonna sign
just
off.
ending. I was so sad that Kim just
I
joined.
know, I'm like, damn. But again, feel free if you have time if you have Zoom, just swing by, say hello. Again, be a part of a bigger community where more voices exist, not just me and IMIs. But genuinely, thank you for doing this. I have one last important question for you.
Mhm.
Will you be my Valentine?
Of course, definitely. It's like the best day my birthdays I've ever had. I'm just gonna watch our replay on the actual Valami day, so
Yeah, and then see if the answers are the same.
yeah, I change my mind quite easily.
Well, again, you'll some of the things that we said we'll ponder about, see if you reflected on it and come to something different.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I will. It's a self-reflection. I always have time for it.
but thank you genuinely again for doing this again with me. Thank you everybody in the chat who's been
Awesome.
so present with us. You've been in the inner room where the conversations go deep, the connections surprise, and the truths linger long after the world quiets down. Until next time, keep listening inward because that's where the stories that shape us really live. I hope you all have an amazing day and maybe see you on the Zoom call. Bye, beautifuls.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.